Hello and welcome to Real WW Talk. I am Rikki.
And I'm Candice.
Yes, and as you guys know, Erin is on a hiatus as she's healing and recovering from her tumor and all of the craziness that happened with that. And we're just missing her, but it's lovely to speak with you, Candice, and to have this
Always.
with you.
Yes.
How's your week been?
Oh, Lord. We're right in the middle of a breast cancer awareness month. So, that's kind of changed for me over the years now that I am a 2-time breast cancer survivor. So,
Yeah.
last week, I had an event where I was talking about fear,
Right.
fear in the journey and scanxiety, which is basically the fear of scans and how do you overcome that. So it's been really, really this month is always a reflective time, but like a busy time. And I always meet some really, really great people because I didn't know we had so many survivors in our group. And
Wow.
they kind of come out of the woodwork. So shout out to the breasties. I still love that term. I don't love that I am a breastie. I don't love that they are breasties, but I do like the fact that we are raising awareness about breast cancer and why people should feel the boobies all the time. So I feel like I've just been talking nonstop. But I'm always happy to talk to you. But how about you? What have you been up to? I think you had some trips and stuff going on.
Yeah, it's been a busy time of year. It's no secret that I am a Disney adult, as you can see from
We
my
all
background.
love Disney. Who doesn't love Disney?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did a day trip, which is crazy from the DMV area to go down for a day. But there are certain festivals that go on in the fall that I'd never been to before, and I was like, you know what, I think now's the time to go. And then it exponentially costs more if you stay overnight. So to
Being able to
me,
experience, that's fun.
it's a great way to get steps in.
I was gonna say, I wonder how many steps you got. I'm sure you didn't keep your not pedometer, but because you don't even have an Apple Watch anymore. What do you have?
I don't. I have a Garmin, but it does keep track of my steps. I've heard people say it's more precise. I don't exactly have two to test it out. But yeah, I think it was around 15,000, and that's a low end. Some people get like 30,000 a day.
Disney's no joke. If you go there just for the walking, I'm like, you can get there and be a marathoner by like the end.
Exactly. I slept well on the plane coming back and then all night. So it was it's a great way to get your steps in. It's a little expensive, but cheaper than staying overnight and another day ticket, So
like I said, I make no apologies for the things that I enjoy doing. So I hope that you had a blast. And Food and Wine Festival is always fun. I've been before.
Okay.
It's a nice kind of, well, like I said, I always, as I said before, I like the group Boys to Men, and they used to go like every year, but I've never actually gone to see them because my husband's like, no, you're not going to Disney World to go see Boys to Men. But I've gone to Food and Wine Festival years and years ago. I just like how they have different stuff in each of the different worlds at Epcot.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to do, just walk around, and I got to explore, and glad they finally got to experience it.
Yeah, that's good. Well, here we are.
Yes. So, we always love when you guys in our community send us questions and emails and just blow us up on chats, things like that. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
We do sometimes get fan mail, which is something that comes through our streaming platform, and we're unable to respond to it, but we can really easily just read it to you or read it to ourselves. And we want to share one with you because we had this comment that we felt like was a great topic to dive into. It's from Adria. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correct. Adria.
Well, look, I'll say Adria. She said Adria. One of us is right.
There we go. In Massachusetts. So she gave us a few wonderful topics, but one of the things we just really wanted to kind of latch to, because we feel like it was such a unique topic that we hadn't talked about, was just the idea of beauty. Like, what makes someone beautiful to you? Also, she kind of put it as a two-part thing, and I think we can kind of tackle both of these. What do you think is the most important element of your beauty? So I think that's important because, again, we haven't talked about that, but also, don't you think that's kind of aligned with both confidence and then also just weight journey? Because what is one of the biggest standards of beauty in this country, and talking about the United States and other countries as well, But here in particular, I mean, look at
Yeah.
supermodels, look at people who gain power as actresses and, other fields. Like it's people who are fit or for skinny.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Candice?
I'm going to give a cliche answer and I don't want to, but like I truly, truly, when she thought about it, I was thinking about the fact that beauty for me is more internal. Like
Mm.
what makes someone be, and I was like, oh gosh, like I know where I feel like I know what she meant. And maybe she meant this, but for me, my thought was about how someone can like come off as ugly to me if their personality and who they are is like
Mm.
not something that I align with. It changes how I view them.
Yeah.
But if I let me start with like the physical, like the
Okay.
physical statement, because for me, I find beauty in people who are able to be authentically who they are, like people who embrace what what they naturally like. I think
Mhm.
sometimes, when I see people trying too hard to fit whatever is mainstream, I think it affects the ability to see who they are. And I find beauty in people being who they are naturally. Everything about who I am is like honestly and natural. And who are you? So I don't know. I think that to me, because I've seen people who, like I say, I feel try too hard. They
Yeah.
try too hard to fit into a narrative that has been put on us by the culture or by the society or by Instagram or by social media,
Mhm.
and that's really hard to do because there's certain things that I feel are not universal truths. Like
Mhm.
all light-skinned Black women should wear this, or all Caucasian women should wear this, or all people who have big butts should wear this. Like there's certain things that people try to say are like
Mhm.
what you have to do.
Yeah.
I push back against that. So
Mhm.
beauty to me is people who are authentically able to be who they are and they own it.
Yeah.
They own it without like apology.
I love that.
Because don't you feel like that comes across in somebody when they are unapologetic about who they are and what they like
Mhm.
and how they express themselves with clothes or makeup? Like,
Yeah, it does. I think it brings attention to them, but I think that curiosity and that like, oh, I want to know more about that person. Why they choose that or what, it does make I think it does give them kind of a sense of like mystery, which can make them seem really beautiful and unique.
yeah.
Um, I love that.
What about
I,
you? What do you think?
So I think when the question was first asked, my mind went straight to external looks, and I think that's a statement about how I grew up. I think I was very focused on. I was very into magazines growing up, like probably too much, and I love flipping through them, and I would love cutting out pictures of like, ooh, I love this outfit. I want to wear this someday. And I love this style, and I love that shoe, and I love this makeup, and I used to watch the Style Channel like on repeat. I don't know if you remember the Style Channel.
See, that's why I said you and I are similar in so many ways, but like we're
That's
complete
how it,
opposites in like
right.
that. But yeah, I kind of vaguely,
Mhm.
but go ahead.
So that's where I started hearing about different fashion designers and Fashion Week and like makeup artists and clothing lines and I just started getting interested in all that. And I think I was enamored and I felt like beauty needed to be wearing a certain brand
Mhm,
or, being as skinny as a supermodel,
mhm,
which my body is not meant to be at 5'4", like,
mhm, mhm.
or, at my shape. So I think I had kind of a warped sense of what beauty is from that point. I think I push back at it a lot. I still love fashion. I still love designer brands in a sense, at least some brands. But if there's something that's too trendy or that everyone has, even when it comes to physical looks, I push away from it. And I
Yeah.
think that's where that uniqueness comes in that you're talking about. Like
Mhm,
people who get a Brazilian butt lift,
mhm,
that is, even if I was more of a flat
mhm.
body, if that makes sense, or like a
Yeah.
boy shape. I don't know how to put that, and I don't want to offend anyone, but I think sometimes people who are less curvy want to be curvy, and the trendy thing is to like here add a little bit of fat to the behind and take some from the waist and add some to the chest and like even just I don't know how about you, but I am not a big fan of plastic surgery, but especially when it comes to completely changing looks, I
Yeah.
think that is I mean, and I want to be careful with what I say because I don't want anyone to feel offended. If you've made that choice to have plastic surgery, I'm not judging in
Mhm.
any way, but I think my concern is who are you doing it for?
Yeah.
I think there's plenty of people who made the choice to get plastic surgery or things like that for themselves because they want it for themselves for their own confidence boost. I think that's great. Good for you.
Mhm.
But I think when people do it because it's a trend, I think that's where it can be a slippery slope.
And I think that you have a lot of things with trends that people are doing, and like I said, they don't necessarily know why.
Hmm.
And like I said, because to me, I'm also still fascinated by how even like how we grew up, how it changes how we view beauty or beauty standards. Like you said, it was something that may not have been instilled, but like it maybe from whereas my family and the way I was instilled was always like be who you are, real. Like I don't like this trend. But I've also wanted I've tied sometimes being a part of the cultural standard of beauty as a way to gain acceptance. Like, okay, well, if blah 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 says that I'm supposed to wear this, then I know that if I do, then I'll be accepted because I can kind of blame the culture. Like, I bought these
Hmm.
jeans because they said that I'm supposed to. I didn't do that as much, but like what I also found is that sometimes I think I pushed back against it because I recognized there were certain things that I liked that people had strong opinions about me liking, and I didn't really like, I wasn't strong enough in myself in terms of confidence to say, like, well, I really want to wear that. Or I had an aunt who probably was a little more she's like, you have to this is what's right. It was a right and a wrong way to be. And
Okay.
that's what tied to like beauty or standards. Like, it's right for you to wear MAC and not this brand.
Hmm.
It's right for you to do this. And so when I learned, especially as I got older, that like there is truly no right way because
Hmm.
it still is just everyone's opinion.
Yeah.
Like, I could ask you one thing and you could be like, "Oh, absolutely not."
Yeah.
Perfect example. I think funny because I think I talked to you about it. I have a friend who makes bag. She made a bag and it's a jean bag. Like she literally takes jeans and she cut it into like a bag. And I was like, that is just the most unique thing. So like I love the bag and I've been wearing it because I think it's like a cute, it's like to me, very, very like practical. But I'm like, nobody is gonna have this. And like half my friends are like, this is so cool. Like, oh my gosh, where'd you get it? I want one. Other people are like, you know what? It's just not really my style, which is fine.
Hmm.
But no one's right or wrong.
Right.
There's absolutely no right or wrong. It's not like the people who like it are better than the people who don't. It's just a personal preference.
Exactly.
And that to me has been like the standard of me in my life. Like when looking for beauty standards, looking to decide if I'm okay, like, is it okay for me to wear this makeup? Is it okay for me to do my hair this way? Is it okay for me to do this? You get so many different opinions.
Hmm.
And that's exhausting to like try to, and I think that that plays into, even if we were to kind of make this a little bit about weight, not just weight, but like how we feel. Cause a lot of this is more the mental health. Like,
Yes.
am I always meeting this external standard of beauty all the time? Because if society says that it's thin people, but then sometimes then it becomes no, we like thickness. Because especially like sometimes we talk about like the African American community, they'll say, oh, I want a girl who has a little bit of thickness here. It's like, but I'm getting this message over here, and I'm getting
Hmm.
this message over here. Which one's right?
Yeah.
Again, there's no right, and that's what's
Yeah.
really hard.
Well, one of the things that let me make sure I get the name right again. It's Adria, Adria.
Or Adria, one of the two.
Yes. that Adria mentioned in her comment that I think can kind of ties into this, and I hope I'm not reaching too far. I feel like I've had a lot of nostalgia for the 90s and growing up in the 90s, and I love it, but there's so many movies that I look back on and I'm like, that was so offensive. I remember one of my earliest memories of seeing this in a movie was Titanic.
Ah.
And my friend, one of my best friends at the time, would just always comment on how big Kate Winslet was, and they're like, oh, she's the reason that the Titanic drowned, and all these and I don't think that came from her.
Right.
I think that came from things she maybe heard on the radio, because I mean we were like 10.
Right.
So I think
You
there's
were 10. Sorry, I had
I,
to do it.
I was 10.
Everyone knows Rikki is the youngin. I was not 10 years old. I don't know
What
what I
were you,
was.
12?
Maybe 15. I don't
No,
know.
you're not 5 years old.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Anyway, sorry, sidebar there.
Right.
Yeah, and then I think there's a couple other movies where people, like women, are just called overweight and in a very unkind way. There was another example I was thinking, like if you look at what is that movie? The whole time they're calling her overweight, and she's just it'll come back to me.
Why did my mind go to Shallow Hal, which is not what you meant?
That,
But that's like an extreme example, right? Like that's exactly not it. But
it's not the one I'm thinking of, but there's so many movies where like the whole time someone is being called overweight, and it's just
you're like, when was that overweight?
Right.
Like,
I mean,
Kate
Regina
Winslet in that movie in Titanic was not overweight.
No, Regina George in
Yes.
Mean Girls, that like she starts to gain weight and they put a couple pads in her bra, and then it's like, oh, she's overweight. There's example after example, but I say all that to say is, one of the things that Adria had suggested we talk about was, the 90s and the 80s influences and ads and campaigns. I mean, there are things you look back on, and this is another sidebar, but Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Jessica Simpson, constantly their weight was just put on display. Nicole Richie they talked about how overweight she was. Yeah. And I mean, those are the things that I grew up with, that you grew up with, that influenced the way we looked at ourselves. It's like, if she's overweight, then what am I? And if she's not fitting that beauty standard, how am I supposed to do that? If I just lose weight, then all of a sudden I'm beautiful. It doesn't matter what my face looks like, or it doesn't matter what my personality is like, what my accomplishments are. None of it matters. And it's sad.
But I think it's, and it's something, well, too, my movie, and I don't know if this, I'm not trying to be funny. I don't remember where you were in your life when Clueless came out, but like Clueless
love it.
For me was like, my friends, we used it as if, see, okay, so you've gotten all your cards back, but like it was in a weird way kind of like not a standard, but you were like, I know they're kind of being funny, but like people were trying to be Cher. Some of my friends, they wanted to be Cher and Dion, and they were doing their hair a certain way and rolling with the homies, and like she would drink a Diet Coke, and because her whole thing was trying to teach Ty or whatever how to be how to have fashion and how to be popular and how to do. So it became a how-to for some people. And you're like, but that's not like true, but the culture may have said maybe it is, because so I remember having to kind of go and navigate through that and be like, am I supposed to wear, this outfit here in order to be, the in-person or not? But the 90s, I think movies like that, ads, and like you said, Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, not picking on them, but there really was a narrative there that if you weren't that, then you had to aspire to it, and they weren't even that. And they'll tell you that now about their lives. They'll say,
or if they gained like the slightest bit of weight, somebody was on a radio show talking about it and criticizing them.
Right. And we don't think about the men. I mean, we're talking about the women, and I know we have men in our community, but I feel like men also have the same kind of challenges too. It's like, if you're not buff and tan, Baywatch or this, or those, like if you're not running around with this 6-pack and jogging and you're not 6'5", it's like you don't meet this standard. But again, I get so, but what about like who you are? Like, but I think that the world, do you feel the world's changed a little bit since then? I know we've had like the body acceptance movement and stuff that's kind of gone on, if you're talking more specifically about weight, but even with clothes, I feel like there's been some kind of like push to say, be who you are. You got
Mhm.
some who truly, I mean, we've always had it through the years of people who are like, I am who I am. We
Mhm.
used to label like, you're alternative or you're
Right.
this. It's like, here's mainstream and you're over
Mhm.
here. But I think it's kind of becoming more of a melting pot.
Yeah, I think there has been a shift. I think about wanting to fit into Abercrombie jeans and knowing that that brand has straight out said, you
Yeah.
know, we don't want certain people shopping there. So now I don't care. I don't need
Right.
to shop there. Don't want to. It's not for me. Whatever.
Right.
But so other brands like American Eagle, I remember really wanting to fit into those jeans, and I would squeeze myself into them, and
Mhm.
they wouldn't. They'd be cut too low. So I was always, didn't want to have a plumber's crack.
Right.
But as I got older, I realized that stores like Old Navy or Gap or wherever it was did have things that fit me.
Mhm.
Lane Bryant, like being able
Mhm.
to go in there and find a clothing size that truly fit me.
Yeah.
And then now American Eagle, other brands have jumped on the bandwagon of having curvy lines of clothing or, plus sizes that can
Mhm.
truly fit other bodies. So I think the clothing industry has come a long way. I
Mhm.
think there's still some ways to go, but in some ways, I think we've gone a little bit backwards. I think the GLP-1s are wonderful, and I think they are great for people who do need to lose the weight. But I think if we're talking about the celebrity world and role models and
Mhm.
images that we've been exposed to, I think we see a lot of actors and actresses misusing it, if that's what they're using. But like seeing this extreme weight loss from some of these celebrities.
Well, some are being very honest. They're like, I did it
Mhm,
solely for the weight loss, like,
mhm,
and not because I wanted to do it, it wasn't health related. But
right.
again, are we going back to chasing the 99 2000s version,
It feels like it is. I mean, one of the celebrities I mentioned earlier, I don't wanna body shame or bring her up because of this, but she used to be very, very skinny, and then there was a period in the 2000s where she was, heavier set and, kind of stayed like that, and then all of a sudden, more recently, back to being super, super skinny and almost just, like, unhealthily skinny,
Mhm.
observably, because
Sure,
I obviously am not a doctor or her doctor,
sure.
and I'm, again, not saying that as judgment, but I hope that the scale doesn't tip back to the standard of beauty being the skinniest your body can possibly handle, because
Yeah,
that just doesn't, to me, that still doesn't seem as strong. I don't want to see myself
yeah.
being the skinniest I can possibly be. I want to be the strongest I can possibly be.
And it's almost like, because I'm raising a son in this world, and I sometimes I fear for him, and I
Mhm.
fear for his generation, and I'm like, I sound like those old people, like, oh, where is this generation going?
Mhm.
But honestly, because I really, my prayer would be that there is a little bit more of an interjecting of who are you as a person, like, and how can we embrace you being you and your, because this really does to me make you shine, you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
And I feel like the culture, I really would love to see the culture embrace that, because
Yeah.
I think it would help us even with our health to say, I'm going to make decisions that are healthiest for me, not because
Mhm.
I'm trying to chase a body standard or chase a beauty standard, because the beauty people don't even know why they like it, because it's
Mhm.
usually just tied to marketing and money. Like, you like it because someone really high up told you that you need to like it. And
Mhm.
it's like, if you were to stop and close your eyes, be like, would I actually choose that? Like, is that truly what I want? Like,
Right.
and is it okay to say no? Or is it okay to like the thing that nobody else likes and go, that's okay.
Mhm.
It feels okay to me. I'm all right with that. And I think that, so that's my prayer for my prayer for where things are going. I'm quite sure that they're gonna fight toe and nail, because I really do feel that money is involved in all of this, and that's why
Mhm.
I'm hopeful that it's not something that people use to compromise their health, because beauty
Mhm.
is so very subjective. It's one of the biggest things that is subjective. It's not like there's no absolute truth. Because if
Mhm.
there were, there definitely would be stuff that, like, because even the magazines don't know. Like, you talk
Right.
about magazines, but like, you pick out 5 different magazines, and they have 5 different it things of the moment.
Yeah.
So,
That's Yeah, it's an interesting topic, and I think there's, you never know what trend is going to come or whether it be the trend in the style or in beauty. But I feel like the biggest thing, I fully agree with you, should be, and I pray does lean towards getting to know people on a personal level and caring about other people as people instead of as their looks or their external thing.
And not to make it about The Sims, because I'm sorry for anyone who watches it,
Yeah.
I like playing The Sims, but there's a reason why there's 15,000 different outfits you could put the Sim in.
Mm.
Right. I mean, like there's because there's no right way. Right. And I don't like continuing to say that, but I really, I'm hopeful. I'm so hopeful that that's what will come across, because this topic, thank you so much for bringing it to us. But I didn't realize how much it really is ingrained in how we are, like, and even the decisions we make for our health based on what beauty is. Like, I have to do this. There are people who have died trying to meet beauty standards.
Yeah.
When you talk about the plastic surgery or even not eating, some people, do things to lose the weight or even sometimes to gain the weight, because we're called out for different things. So shutting ourselves off to the opinions of others should really be most paramount. Just saying.
I think that's true. So we're going to learn from that and, just be ourselves and celebrate others for being themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you all think? I really would love to know. Again, I always say it, but I'm very interested in this conversation. So what are your beauty standards and how have you pushed back against them if they don't fit the mainstream? And what have you found to be, like I said, the biggest thing that has changed maybe for you from the 99s, 2000s to now, because it really has been a shift, but I do have a fear it's going back that way, but we're going to pray it doesn't. Pray it doesn't.
Well, Candice, this has been a great conversation. Do you want to just tell everyone the different ways they can get in touch with us?
Sure. Look, we made it very easy. Real WW Talk, wherever you go. Go on Instagram, search it there. Facebook, same thing. Answer a few questions for Facebook because it's full of the spammers and the bots who are trying to get in like spam groups, and we don't do that. So if you could put in Real WW Talk, you can find us on Connect, at least me and Rikki. And we are on TikTok now. We have at least one video. I think a few more coming, hopefully. I need to get on it. But yeah, Real WW Talk everywhere. And also, we just, like I said, are so appreciative of those of you who support the podcast. You can, if you'd like to be a monthly supporter, if you'd like to send us fan mail, they call it fan mail. We call it friend mail. If you'd like to send us friend mail, you can do that at the link in the show notes. We cannot respond back to you. But just like we did with Adria here, or Audria, or whatever, thank you.
Tell us how to
tell us, don't fuss at us. We're so very sorry. But you can send a message just like she did, or you can actually send us an email at realwwtalk@gmail.com. We'll do our best to get back to you. But yeah, those are the different ways that you can reach out to us, and we'd love to hear from you.
Yes. Thank you so much. And we hope you have a wonderful week.
Yep.
We'll see you later.
Okay. Bye.